Hello everyone, good evening. Welcome to the CAIIB Foundation July 2025 batch. And we are going to cover the unit 11 from module B today, which is the Payment and Settlement Systems Act of 2007. Alright, so all of these videos are the summarized versions of the chapters. We will cover the whole module, all the modules of the BRBL paper, and the units have till the 10th unit have already been uploaded on the YouTube channel. So make sure that you watch them as well. Now let us start with this act, which is the Payment and Settlement Act. Basically, this act came to monitor and supervise or regulate the payment systems in India, and it also designates the RBI as the authority for that purpose and all the related matters. So whenever we make an online payment, we refer to that as a settlement which was made using the payment system. All right. So before the digitization or before the electronic banking, these systems did not exist. But with the advent, and today more so, all the transactions, maximum transactions are routed through the payment system. So it is very important to regulate and supervise these payment systems. So when we talk about the Payment and Settlement Systems Act of 2007, it came into effect on 12th August 2008, and it extends to the whole of India. Now, who has the responsibility for the regulation and supervision? It is the RBI. The Reserve Bank is authorized under the Act to constitute a committee of its central board. We will see the members of the central board in the further slides. But RBI has the power to monitor and supervise, and RBI has the power to constitute a board which is known as the Board for Regulation and Supervision of Payment and Settlement Systems, the BPSS. And this board is going to exercise its powers and perform its functions and discharge its duties under the statute. So RBI indirectly through the BPSS supervises and controls and regulates the payments and settlement system. So in this act, we are going to talk about the authorization for any payment system to work, the issuer. We will also talk if there are any changes that are to be made that also require approval from RBI. Any penalties if are imposed. Everything is covered under this act. The first important section is section 2, subsection 1 and subsection 2. The section 2 of the act defines important terms like the bank, included in the second schedule of Reserve Bank, any cooperative bank, a banking company, a post office savings bank, the regular definition that we have. Then definition of derivative is given, which is an instrument which has a derived value which will be settled on a future date. What is the meaning of the electronic funds transfer, wherein the transfer are made through the electronic means and includes the point of sale transfers, ATM transactions, transfers initiated by telephone, internet, any card payment, right? Then we have the meaning of settlement, gross settlement, net settlement. These definitions are given. Then the section 2, subsection 2 talks about the terms which are not defined in the subsection 1. These terms will have the same meaning, the words and expressions will have the same meaning as defined in the RBI Act or the Banking Regulation Act. They shall have the same meanings that are assigned in these two acts. Alright, so here I have included a few important definitions like what is the gross settlement system. It means a payment system in which each settlement of funds or the securities occurs on the basis of separate or individual instructions. Each settlement, right? Separate or individual instructions. So every person or every transaction that is made, it is settled separately. The settlement is done separately. It is a gross settlement. It is opposed to the net settlement where an aggregate is made. We will see in the further slide. Then issuer means any person who issues a legal identity identifier, the legal entity identifier, or such unique identification as may be specified from RBI from time to time. So any person who issues a legal entity identifier. For every transaction, there will be this legal entity identifier or any unique identification. What does this mean? It means a unique identity code assigned to a person by an issuer for the purpose of identifying such person in any derivatives or financial transactions. So it is a unique identity code which is given, and whenever you make any payment using the electronic mode or the payment system, this legal entity identifier will be used. So we have seen the gross settlement. We also have the net settlement or netting. What is the meaning of netting? Netting means the determination by the system provider for the amount of money or securities as a result of setting off or adjusting the payment obligations, right? Either they set off or adjust the payment obligations, including the claims and obligations arising out of the termination of the system provider, the insolvency or dissolution or winding up of the system participant, or any other circumstance. So what we are doing, either we are setting off, we are cancelling, or we are adjusting any debit and any credit. Any debit is adjusted for any credit. This is the meaning of netting. Alright, netting means the setting off or adjusting. So this is the term that you need to remember. Alright, then this is section 2, which talks about the various definitions. Apart from that, what is the meaning of the payment instruction, payment obligation, payment system, system participant, trade repository, all of these terms are also given. Then if we talk about the designated authority, I've already told you the designated authority is the RBI for the supervision of payments, anything, and it is dealt with in section 3 of the act. In section 3 of the act, right? So we said that the Board for Payments and Settlement System, the BPSS, shall consist of the following members. RBI is the designated authority for the regulation and supervision to perform the functions and discharge the duties. The board that is set up by RBI will consist of members. The governor of the RBI will be the chairperson. The deputy governor of the RBI will be the in charge of the payment and settlement systems. The officer from the Reserve Bank, one officer to be nominated by the central government to be the ex officio member. So the central government is going to nominate one officer from the Reserve Bank to act as an ex officio member, and three other persons are to be nominated by the central government to be the members. So apart from the RBI governor, deputy governor, one officer and three other persons will be nominated by the central government. These are going to be the members of the regulatory board. Then the powers are given in the section 2, the time and venue of the meeting, the procedures, everything has been prescribed. Now the section 4 is another important section. The section 4 of the act says that no person other than the Reserve Bank shall commence or operate a payment system. All right, so whenever a new company or any issuer, they want to start a payment system, a new company wants to set up a payment system, they need to get approval from RBI. Authorization will be made under the powers given to RBI. So the continued operation of an existing payment system before the commencement of this act, they also need to take authorization not exceeding 6 months. So if a payment system was existing before the act was commenced, so within 6 months of the enactment, they have to take authorization from RBI, or it can also be refused. The RBI will check the necessary conditions, the paid up capital, the technology, requirements, everything. And if they find that these are fine, then they can give the authorization or they can give the refusal, right? So this is there. So any person or organization who want to commence operation of a payment system, they have to apply for authorization with RBI. So applying for the authorization, section 5. Then scrutiny and inquiry by RBI, section 6. and authorization or refusal is given by RBI in section 7. So three important sections: section 5, section 6 and section 7. 5 says that any person or organization, if they want to start a payment system, first they need to apply for authorization. That they will do in section 5. Then section 6, they will the RBI will conduct scrutiny or inquiry, and on the basis of their scrutiny, they will authorize or refuse the application. All right. So the scrutiny that we are talking about in section 6, RBI will check various things like what is the financial status, the technical status, which are required for operating a payment system, the terms and conditions of operation, the manner in which the transfer of funds may be effected, the monetary and credit policies, right? Then when the authorization form is being submitted, the date on which the it will start effect, it will take effect, the conditions to which the authorization shall be enforced, the payment of fees, if any, that is done, has to be mentioned, right? If any security has been furnished, or the time period for which the authorization will be continued or it will be revoked, everything will be given by RBI along with the authorization. And whenever the authorization is refused, it shall also give the applicant a notice giving or stating the reasons for the refusal. And again, the application, the aggrieved service provider, they may appeal to the central government if the refusal is made by RBI. This appeal provision is also there, right? Then section 11 talks about the rules for changes. Now, if a payment system is operating in a certain manner and they want to make a change, so for that, two things need to be done. First, no system provider shall cause any change in the system which would affect the structure or operation of the payment system without prior approval of RBI. So if any change is going to affect the structure or operation, because the public are using that payment system, if any change is made, then this change can be detrimental. So RBI has said that any changes that are to be made, first they require prior approval. Second, by giving notice of not less than 30 days to the system participants. So system participants are the users. So whenever RBI gives an approval for any change, from that date, 30 days notice will be given to the system participants before implementation of the changes. All right. So these are the two things regarding the rules for changes given in section 11. Then section 12, 13 and 14 talks about RBI's powers to conduct returns or access information, carry out inspections of any payment system and the premises. So RBI, they can designate any officer to visit the payment system from wherever they are functioning to conduct their inspection, right? They have this power. RBI can also ask for any information from any system provider, any such returns or documents, or at any interval that they require. They can access information relating to the operation of the payment system, and also they may authorize an officer who might visit the premises. They can enter any premises without prior notice being given where the payment system is being operated. They may inspect any equipment like the computer system, document. They can ask any employee to give information, right? They can ask to furnish information or documents as may be required by the officer. So these are the provisions for the information and inspection given in section 12, 13 and 14. So RBI can carry out the audit and inspections of the payment systems as well as the participants. Then once RBI has given the authorization, and if they find out during their inspection that the payment system is not working according to the terms and conditions, or any activity which is detrimental to the public, if any activity is undertaken, then they can revoke the authorization at any time on happening of certain events in which is given in section 8 of the statute. So once RBI gives the authorization, they can also take away or they can revoke the authorization under section 8 of the Act. Alright. So now if any person is aggrieved by this refusal or revocation of the authorization, they can make an appeal to whom? To the central government. Very important. Appeals questions are very commonly asked. So the aggrieved service provider may appeal to the central government against the revocation of the authorization within 30 days from the date on which the order is communicated to them. So if RBI they refuses the application, right, then the appeal can be made. Appeal can also be made if RBI has revoked the authorization under Section 8 of the Act, and this has to be done within 30 days. Now the central government will try to dispose of an appeal under a period of 3 months. Moreover, the decision which is taken by the central government on the appeal shall be final. No further appeal lies with any court. So once the central government takes a decision, they can direct the RBI to take back their decision, or they can say to the service provider that this decision taken by RBI was correct and you should stop all your operations now. Alright, so the decision of the central government on the appeal shall be final. And if we talk about the refusal, every application has to be processed by RBI as soon as possible, and any such application should be disposed of within a period of 6 months from filing such application. So the time periods, the time limits have been given. Then we talk about the settlement. What is the meaning of settlement and netting? So the definition of settlement is also given in the section 2 of the Act. Settlement means wherever the settlement it takes place, whether it is taking place at the gross or the net basis. Settlement means the process of transferring of the funds through the central agency, or we can say from the payer to the payee. So when the transfer instruction is given, the payment instruction is given, and it is completed, the transferring of funds through the central agency from the payer to the payee, then it is known as a settlement. Alright, now gross settlement we have already seen. It is done on a one-on-one basis or one-to-one or individual basis, right? So every transaction will be done on individual basis. That is without bunching with other transactions. We have seen the RTGS, NEFT payment systems that are working, right? So the gross settlement means without bunching with other transactions or by not netting the receipts and payments between the two parties. So neither we are bunching them together nor we are netting the payments. That is a gross settlement. Net settlement, however, is a system in which large number of transactions between the counterparties are accumulated. Let's say party A and party B. First, a credit transaction was initiated from A to B. Then again, a debit transaction was initiated from B to A. Again, a credit transaction from A to B. Again, a debit transaction from B to A. So what will happen? Large number of transactions between two counterparties are accumulated. They are collected and offset against each other, with only the net differential being transferred at the predetermined times. So what is happening here? Now, if let's say all the transactions, let's say 4 credit transactions and 3 debit transactions. Credit transactions amounting total of rupees 15,000. We are taking just a small number, and all the debit transactions from this side amounting rupees 10,000. These will be offset and only the payment will be made of the remaining 5,000. So this is a set off which is done in the net settlement. So what is being done? A large number of transactions between the counterparties are accumulated and offset against each other, with only the net differential being transferred at the predetermined time period. Alright, so I hope this is clear, the meaning of settlement, gross settlement and net settlement. And apart from that, Any other important provisions? So whenever any settlement is made, whether gross or net, it should be made very clear that these settlements are final and irrevocable. These settlements are final and irrevocable. These cannot be taken back. All right. So it has been given in the provisions not to reopen any determination that has become final or irrevocable, right? After appropriating according to the rules, regulations of the bylaws, everything, no return of the collateral or anything will be done. So any settlement which is made, whether gross or net, it is referred or it is said to be final and irrevocable, as the money, securities, or the foreign exchange or any other transactions, the settlement has already been done, right? Then RBI also has powers to make regulations as to how the system providers, the banks, or the countervening provisions, anything. All the regulations are made by RBI under section 30 and 31 of the Act. Plus, regulations are also given under section 38. So, the powers and functions refer to the board, the form and manner in which an application for the authorization will be submitted, then the authorization will be issued, under which format, any regulation which is made, everything. So, RBI is the designated authority. And that is all. We have summarized, we have completed all the important provisions of the Act. Now, if you want to study this chapter in detail, you can obviously join the CAIIB selection batch for the June-July 2021 2025, which is all in one course. And it is going to be both in English as well as bilingual medium, where you will get 250 plus of the classes of all the four subjects. Plus, you will also get the elective paper tests, downloadable study notes, a case study, and numerical based tests as well. So, you will get the basic concept clarity plus advanced prep. So, join the course now, enroll the courses now, because the classes are starting very soon, and all the details are given in the description box as to how you can join the course, how you can download the PDF. Everything is already available. So thank you so much for attending. Make sure that you like the video and you subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss any of the updates, and also watch the other videos because they are very important, very crucial for your exam preparation. I will meet you again with the next chapter in tomorrow's session. Till then, thank you and all the best.